Aloha, friends and neighbors. Do you know that all the water in your body came from comets, came from outer space, and all the heavy elements in your body were made in the center of stars? You are a child of the stars. We all are. Yep. This is me at, 3, 4 years old. It's been 3. I'm the same now, exactly the same. Spirit doesn't change. It goes on and on and on. It doesn't die. The you that's inside the little boy or the little girl's body, and it's the same now, whether you're 70 or 80, is exactly the same. And it goes on and on and on. All right, we're about to do the second week in October on program 931. And this is a very important week because it contains the full moon, Tuesday night the 7th, the full moon on the planet Uranus. Yeah, the full moons are kind of important these days. You just went through the full moon on 15 Pisces. The one before that was the Aquarius full moon that hit your president. And the funny thing is that as soon as that full moon hit, he changed his suits and he put on a moon-colored suit. Because I knew he was a bit of a lunatic, and that's what got us into the overreaction on ISIS. But he put on a moon-colored suit, do you remember? Some notes for you. Yep, Saturday, 7 a.m., you wake up in the morning Saturday, Mercury's retrograde. You got 3 weeks of it. Well, there'll be a little more difficulty in communication, transportation. That's what Mercury does. Hermes, he carries things around. So your wallet carries things. Your car, you could lose your car keys for a little bit, lose your wallet for a little bit. Mercury likes to hide things, And if he's hidden something from you during this 3 weeks following October 4th, well, the best thing to do is to let go of it and say, oh, it doesn't make any difference. And bang, it will appear. The full moon Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, is on the planet Uranus. And, it's an important full moon. You don't see that very often. The world's going to see hurricanes, tornadoes, quakes, CMEs, electrical failures, Interesting time coming up for you. Let's take a look at the sky mirror and see what it has to do with you and me and the world at large. So the sun is going from 10 degrees to 20 degrees of Libra, which means that on Saturday it's going to square Pluto. Eek, a bug. The Mercury retrograde, though, is kind of interesting because it's going retrograde at 2 Scorpio, which puts it in a trine to Neptune. So the kids may be singing songs, and there could be some spiritual, artistic enlightenment in store for you. Jupiter here in Leo, going from 16 to 18 degrees, squaring Saturn. Old Saturn's at 21 to 22. So these are the liberals and the conservatives, and you can't expect Congress to do anything but get locked up in a square. Squares are obstacles, so can't get nothing done. Well, this is an important full moon for me because there's indications that we're going to catch some wind damage in Hawaii. But I got to be a little careful because Saturn here is opposing my personal planet that rules my 10th house of career, which is Uranus. I'm an astrologer. And so when Saturn squares your ruler of your 10th, lots of times you're embarrassed. And so I could be off on this prediction. I'm going to have to just take it as it comes. The last one, when the little hurricane hit Mauna Loa, I think I predicted mostly a rain event, and so I was a little bit wrong on that. But I was a little bit right. No hurricane is ever the same. No, they're all different. They're unusual, very unusual creatures, these Aquarian things. That's what a hurricane, an earthquake, they're all the sons of Urania. And they happen real suddenly, huh? And they make you feel very alone, or they make you feel very together. It creates brotherhood, believe it or not. When all the electrical lines are down, you wind up meeting your neighbors. It's kind of neat in that respect. Now, if you've got any planets in the middle of cardinal signs, that's Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, you could feel a little shaky. You could feel some of the symptoms of Uranus, a little shakiness, a little feeling of aloneness. But we will check and see if we can figure out where in the world these things are going to localize. That's the trick of it. Nobody's really done that very well, and I've been working on it for years. So the world is in for some shakings and some twirlings after this full moon Tuesday night here in Hawaii. And we'll try to figure out where as we go along. Let's check it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern. Moon goes around once a month, and when it goes through the signs and makes angles to the planets, it generates the mood of the times. And on Friday, well, actually Thursday night, if you're on the Thursday night show, here about 9-10 o'clock, the moon shifted into Aquarius, becomes a little bit electric, and you'll understand astrology and science and numbers better. But Friday morning, early, well, this is 2 a.m. in the morning in Hawaii, there's a square to Mercury, and you'll lose the keys, and these things could, well, it's a little bit early yet. It isn't happening till the 4th, but this is close enough. This is your last chance to sign important documents without. See, about half of the short trips and communications after the Saturday will be done twice. About half of them. If I'm going to go do something important, I'll leave the house twice. I'll pick up the phone, call somebody, hang up, let it ring once, hang up, quickly punch redial, and I've called twice, and I try to outfox Mercury a little bit. It's also, though, a good time for cleaning out your old wallet, the purse, the drawers, going back to do things that you started before during this 3-week period from Mercury. Anyway, there is some niceties here, some sweets Friday morning with a nice trine to Venus. You may want to stay in bed and lazy out a little bit. Friday morning, October 3rd. In the afternoon, there's a nice trine to the sun. You're making a plan. I'm going to get things done. Hooray! And here's a sextile to Uranus. This is about 10 o'clock Hawaiian time. And here's this electricness you'll feel Friday night. I'm an individual. I'm a rebel. And this is secular scientific thinking, not religious mind. And we're in for a month of it after this full moon. It will actually put our president back in the saddle again. Yeah. But for you'll get some great ideas Friday night. Early Saturday morning, the moon's still in Aquarius, but here's that Jupiter-Saturn square. First Jupiter, we got so much to do. That's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then Saturn clicks in at breakfast, at lunch. Oh, no time, no money, and we're in gridlock again. And the politicians aren't going to get much done on Saturday, October 4th. Late Saturday night, well, these marks are 2 a.m. in the morning Hawaiian time here. So here's Mercury, and he's in real harmony, even though he's gone retrograde here on Sunday morning. Of course, this is 2 a.m. in the morning. There's some good church vibes here. Yeah. Hey, when you read Jesus, and I do a lot, I love the man, and when he says heavens, substitute sky. That's what it was in the original Aramaic. Jesus was trained in astrology in Alexandria. Yes. So here's a chance to think over all that religious, artistic stuff. Go back in your religious mind. Get some faith in something again. Sunday morning. If you don't go to church, go sit under a tree. Look at the birds and the butterflies. You know, I have a thing on my wall from Emerson. They say America started and stopped thinking with Emerson. It's nature gives to every time and season some beauty of its own. Nature gives to every time and season some beauty of its own. So all you got to do is go out and be with nature. Doesn't take very much nature to do it. And there'll be some wonderful, blissful stuff there Sunday morning. Hope you enjoy it. Sunday night late, here about midnight, you're going to hit the old full moon. That full moon was in Pisces. And so it's a little bit rocky Sunday night. Accumulates all of the stuff that's happened for the prior month, huh? And Mars is there. So there's some impatience and some angriness Sunday night, Monday morning. If you sleep through it, great. You'll get up Monday morning, moon's in Pisces. Here between breakfast and lunch, there's a nice trine to Saturn. You're getting all organized. Feels a lot better, huh? On Tuesday, the moon shifts into Aries, and it becomes electric, and it becomes shaky. And you're coming to that full moon on the planet Uranus. It's very interesting here on Tuesday. Kind of complicated, too. So bear in mind now that this line is 2 a.m. in the morning, and this line's 2 a.m. in the morning. And so here you are 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and this stuff starts to kick in here about 3, 4 o'clock with the square to Pluto. A little panicky feeling. Eek, a bug. Got my attention, huh? Yeah. And here's Venus, too. At the same time, there's an opposition to Venus. And you're out of the comfort zone. And what do I need to make myself comfortable? and here about, well, this is probably 9 o'clock or so. The moon goes by Uranus. And it becomes jerky and twirly. And gee, I could be all alone here when the power goes out. What a feeling that is, huh? Just if your cable television goes out, oh boy, what am I going to do? What, read a book? Where are the no electric lights? Anyway, you got your batteries, got your flashlights, got your lanterns. Yeah, you're going to need some of that stuff because you're not going to get a lot done. Here's the full moon on Uranus. Comes in about 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. I think by that time you realize there's something going on here. You'll get a little relief, probably 1 or 2 in the morning. There's a nice trine to Jupiter and a trine to Mars. The heroes are out. People are helping. The moon goes by the south node here. That's what this upside down horseshoe is. And there's a feeling that we all need help. Even though the heroes are out and you can see what needs to be done, you still feel like you need help Wednesday morning on October 8th. And you'll probably feel that way mostly through Wednesday. On Thursday, the moon shifts into Taurus. But there's an opposition to Mercury here. And communication and transportation is still down and out. And, you know, this is 4 a.m. in the morning, Hawaiian time. This is 2 a.m. in the morning on the West Coast. And Mercury is a problem, huh? What, can't get the kids to school? Maybe they shouldn't be in school today. There is a nice trine to Neptune, or a sextile. So this is 60 degrees, and you could get some music in your life, you know, and a little faith is very helpful about this time on Thursday. There's decisive investigations Thursday night with the trine to Pluto, and so something's happening here, something's getting done on Thursday. On Friday, the 10th of October, the moon's still in Taurus, and Well, we're in gridlock again. Here's the square to Jupiter first. We're doing too much. We can't do so much. Got to slow down. And then comes Saturn, the opposition to Saturn. And we're freezing cold. We're stuck. Here's gridlock again, see? And this could all be the result of that horrendous Tuesday, Wednesday. You could still be stuck here Friday and not be getting much done. On Saturday, the 11th of October, the moon shifts into Gemini. There's a square to Neptune that's still confusing, and we're not sure what's going on here. That happens about the middle of the day. So, if you lose something on Saturday, it's probably due to the water, the liquids. On Sunday, we're finally getting a handle on something. Here's a sextile to Uranus, and I guess your electricity got plugged in, or your TV anyway. And here's your back in the comfort zone. Here's a trine to Venus, and here's a nice trine to the Sun in the afternoon and evening. So we're back in gear. We're getting things done. Our plans are starting to work out again. But here is an opposition to Mars. We don't want to go out and do all that physical stuff, and there's a little anger here and impatience, huh? Ask yourself what you're protecting on the 12th of October. Yes, in this shaky second week of October. Your world shaking a little bit? Usually this is wind damage, huh? And sometimes it's just, of course, we got a Pluto component there, but I think the lava is incidental to what's happening here with the wind. All right, here's my old ephemeris for October 2014. And you're sitting here on the 2nd or 3rd. And I've circled these green circles at times when planets line up that tend to indicate the shaking or the twirling has disrupted you a bit. And this one here is minor from the Mercury retrograde. It's trining Neptune, and so I don't think it's real disruptive. The disruptions tend to come along here in the middle of October, and then in here, too. So this 3rd week of October seems to be where a lot of the action is, huh? And particularly interesting is when Mercury goes direct. And when Mercury goes direct, it's doing so at 16 degrees 46 minutes of the sign of Libra. And that opposes that full moon on Uranus. And so, I would just bet that some kids aren't going to be in school. This could go on for, several days here through this period. But this makes it doubly difficult to communicate and transportate. It's so wide. This is a place where I would think maybe a solar flare might have come up and disrupted a lot of our electronic communication. At the very least. Yeah. All right, before I go on and get myself in trouble over where these shakings may happen, a short rant, okay? When I was this age, my mom used to walk up to this little store in the neighborhood about 2 blocks away and buy fresh food. There was a truck that came around in the late 40s, and a guy had a bell on it, ding dong, and he was a vegetable farmer, and you go out and get fresh vegetables, and buy it right off the truck. There was a milkman that delivered fresh milk. So I had the good fortune to grow up in my first early years, World War II. It was after World War II that the food got polluted. So I grew this body on pretty good organic food. You may not have been quite as lucky. Because what happens in the good old USA is we do have obsessions with Pluto, guns. But your food is really important. I mean, you are what you eat. There's no way out of that. Your body cannot be built from anything outside unless you eat it. So, you got to be careful what you feed these kids. Ignore the corporate stuff. They got a philosophy. They bought off the FDA years ago that certain minimum levels of toxins are okay. That's no good. No, any plutonium in your body is injurious. Any lead hits kids, bang, down goes the IQ. I was aghast the other day. Some guy in the Department of Health in Honolulu said, oh, lead, yeah, well, kids have to be exposed for 4 or 5 years before it injures them. No, there's zero tolerance on lead. And how that guy got that philosophy, I'm going to get his name and call him up and say, hey, where'd you get that? Go back and look at Dr. Needleman's studies. You know, zero tolerance for lead, zero tolerance for plutonium, zero tolerance for most of these things. That's how we got all this cancer and stuff. You are what you eat. It's really worthwhile when a little kid's body's being born to feed him as organically as you can. Well, there's no question we're in a hurricane year, 2014. And the first one, you know, the orb went out to August 10th, and that was the little hurricane that hit Mauna Loa and splashed into nothing. You know, I had it down as a rain thing. Storm on Kauai. But now we're looking at October. And October is a little different. You know, the new moon on the October 23rd is especially difficult. But the one you're about to hit there shows panicky stuff. Services halt due to wires down. It's complicated, I know. I'll try to unscramble some of it for you. But the October 8th full moon starts a month, and it goes all the way to November 6th. And October 25th, Mercury stations, you know, and I think that's going to be an important event. Because Mercury has to do with the small winds, and Uranus will make it very chaotic. Chaotic winds or high-speed winds, huh? So I'm not hedging much on this. No. This full moon that you're having, it's near the south node. Somebody's going to need help. And Kauai is in need of help. And this thing hits and puts the south node near Kaloa, where one of my sons lives, right smack on the top of the chart. And so Kauai usually gets smacked a little stronger than the rest of us. There's a 3/4 moon on October 15th, puts Neptune on the IC. Strong in Kona and Hilo says water damage, possible flooding. Yeah. And then finally, the new moon on October 23rd, which means difficulties getting around. A disruption is very strong. And I figure this is the aftermath of a hurricane. This is what happens after the hurricane. So October is going to be a very interesting month. Yes. So I figured, you know, probably at least in Hawaii, it's got to happen just before the new moon on the 23rd or just after it. And the nodes are real important with Mercury there. There's a 1/4 moon on October 30th, and it shows more aftermath, huh? The south node rising. Help, I need help. Pluto on the midheaven here in Hawaii. That could be more action from Pele. That could make the news. And let's see, Lahaina. Yeah, we need help. You got your hurricane supplies in? Hope so. Now here's the chart of the October 8th full moon. There's the moon on the planet Uranus. And here in Kona, you notice that it's 10 degrees off the midheaven, which is why I think the October 8th isn't going to hit us so much in Hawaii. It's in someplace else in the world where there's these disruptions. The October 15th three-quarter moon, though, shows Neptune here on the angle at the bottom of the chart, and there could be some rain issues in Hawaii. And here is the October 23rd new moon. Interesting thing, the Uranus thing here is at 14 degrees. It squares the rising sign, but it's not in the home. It's in the third house. So I think this business is lines on the street, tree limbs on the street. This is not going to blow the roof off your house and disrupt your home. It's outside, out in the neighborhood. That's where the interruptions will be. Cartoon from the far side, Gary Larson on hurricanes. Evidently this guy was painting a picture of a tornado. Tornadoes are the same way. And there he is flying around in the thing with a lot of other stuff, the cows and stuff. So it's wind. Yes, that's what these things are all about. Anyway, check out the SkyMirrorAstrology.com/TV. You get my website, SkyMirrorAstrology.com. You get the app. Get one for your iPhone. Come on. The revolution has been postponed. We've discovered a leak. Look at that. So we could have some revolutions here kind of in trouble too. And we could have some amazing video of different kinds of things. And so, wow, it's a chaotic month, but it's an interesting one. Yes. A full moon on Uranus always brings up weird things, huh? UFO kinds of stuff. The title for this one is, "For God's Sake, Kill the Lights, Murray. He's back again." So you're likely to hear about UFOs and strange occurrences for the whole month.